A patio cover lets you enjoy your garden for longer. You don't have to flee inside at the slightest. Making your own terrace roof may not be so obvious. Installing one yourself is, especially if it comes in a kit. All you need is a strong pair of helping hands and the right materials.
So with a veranda, you can turn your patio into a living patio. But first we have some work to do. The veranda construction kit is delivered. Now we can start preparing it.
I put all my beams on trestles. This is easier to cut open. I also cut at the top. If necessary, I had to strike somewhere and cut in the non-visible part. Once I cut everything open, I also checked the quality of the delivered products. 2 types of beams were delivered, starting with profiles and the intermediate profiles.
Check the beams especially for scratches. They are powder-coated and delivered packed, but something can always go wrong during transport. The cover profiles that you will later click into the beams are fitted with a rubber strip. Push them through to the end. Squeeze the profile a little at the front. This will make it easier to mount it later. Pre-drill the cover profiles. This makes it easier to attach them to the beams later on. You can cut off the rubbers, but leave about 5 centimeters. There are rubbers in the beams. The glass or polycarbonate plates will later be placed on them. To protect and waterproof them, slide the rubber seal into the openings. Slide them to the end. Along one side they will be too long, but don't cut them off yet, because only at the end will you be sure of the right size. Check that the rubber seal sits well in the profile everywhere.
We are going to provide LED spotlights in our girders. We are going to build these in is much nicer than a housing, and the cables will be nicely hidden.
Measure where the spotlights should go. Ideally, they should be in the middle of the beam. There are 2 spotlights per beam. See the instructions for the correct distance and distribution of the spotlights. First, drill in the spots using a metal drill bit. Once your drill point is made, drill the opening to the right size with your impact drill. This is included in the packaging when you order the spotlights, so you immediately have the right diameter.
Never wipe away the burrs, blow them away. Otherwise, you will scratch the paintwork. Now we can fit the spotlights.
Then insert the spotlight into the opening. All cables should come out on the same side. First, pull the cables through to the nearest opening. To pull one cable to the other side, you can use a tape measure. Stick it through the profile. Attach your cable to it and pull it back with your meter. Then insert the spotlight into the opening. It hooks behind the profile and gets stuck that way. The last 2 items left to unpack are the wall beam and the support beam that will be at the front of the veranda. The support beam will still be reinforced with a profile. This is a steel profile. It still has some burrs from production. You can easily remove them with an angle grinder. You then place the profile in the joist. First, put in some lubricant or silicone. This will make assembly go a bit smoother. Once the reinforcement is in place, seal both sides with silicone. This way, the side of the profile is sealed and more resistant to moisture. Place the molding in front of the gutter. You fasten these with self-supporting screws. Because of the drill head on the screw, you no longer need to pre-drill. At the end of the profile, there will be a cover cap. This ensures that the water does not gush out of the gutter along the side. All preparations on the ground are done, and we can start building the veranda. First, we place the wall profile. Put the wall profile at the right height. The height is determined by the clearance height on the large side of the veranda. The slope of the veranda is 8 degrees. If you then also know how far your veranda will be from the wall, you can use the tangent rule to calculate how much higher your wall profile should be than the beam on the large side. It is best to hang the profile by 2. When it is at the right height, you can already fasten it with a screw.
Before we insert the second striking plug, check that the wall profile is perfectly level.
When you are sure it is fit, you can also insert a second fastener into the wall. Then fix the profile in all other places. The impact plugs you need for this are included in the package. Once the profile is attached, seal the gap between the profile and the wall with silicone. This prevents water from seeping in. With finishing soap for silicone, you smooth out the silicone nicely. Then the support beam can be put in place. For this, it is best to use a lift. You can easily hire such a genie lift from your local rental center. Position the lift so that the beam is at the right distance from the wall. Then raise the beam to about the right height. You can then place the first beam. This is, of course, an end profile that comes on the outside. Fasten the beam to the wall profile and the joist only with one screw. That way you can still move a bit. Then you can also attach the beam to the other end. If you have a standard veranda, this is also an end beam. But here our veranda consists of more parts, so it is an intermediate beam. You attach this to the profiles as well. For now, with just one screw. Because the veranda consists of several parts, we also put a connecting profile in the gutter. This connects the two pieces of veranda to each other.
Before we continue building our beams, we check that they are nice and square.
Then you can place the poles by hanging a plumb line or a piece of string with some weight under the support beam. You immediately know where. That's where you dig a well. Make sure it is at least 40 centimeters deep. Here that means you also have to remove some of the bricks. The foundation will be in the well. Lay a concrete tile in it and make sure it is fit. A concrete foundation will be placed on top of that. Then, put that about right under your plumb. Then place everything at the right height. The slope of the roof should be 8 degrees. You can easily and precisely measure this with a degree spirit level. Bring the lift up or down until the slope is exactly 8 degrees. If you don't have a degree spirit level, you can use an ordinary spirit level. On this, you indicate the distance of 1 meter. Then place the spirit level on the girder. If you put it in place, the 1 meter mark should be at a distance of 14 centimeters. Now measure the height from the foundation to the support beam. If this is greater than 2 meters, you can use 2 drop gauges to measure this easily. You will probably have to shorten the support beam. To do this, apply a piece of tape to the post. You can more easily mark your size on it. Use an angle grinder to cut the pole to size. Put it in place to see if it fits perfectly. The drain for the rainwater will be in this post, so you have to provide those as well. Therefore, first mark the level of the paving. The outlet of the drain should be above it. Measure to what you think is a good height and make an opening with the hole saw. This is also supplied with your kit, so don't worry about the right size. Then insert the drain pipe and spout into the posts. Make sure, of course, that they fit together. Then you can put the post in place and screw it to the support beam. Check that the structure is still perpendicular and then screw the post into the concrete foundation. There are already holes provided for this in which the bolts fit, so you don't need to drill them anymore. You can now move the concrete foundation a little more until your pole is perpendicular. Measure in both directions to make sure it is. Now you make sure the water from the gutter can flow into the drain pipe. To do this, make a cavity in the gutter as close as possible along the inside of the gutter. Again, first drill a hole with your metal drill. Then use the hole drill to make the large hole without any problems. Apply some silicone around the opening to prevent leaking. Then insert the leaf catcher into the opening. That will also immediately make the connection with the drain pipe. Then check whether your gutter is level. If necessary, adjust the height of the lift a little to get the correct slope. Then measure the height from the post to the foundation. If you have several pieces, repeat these steps for each part of the veranda.
So our foundation consists of two parts, a concrete slab that we level, after which we place the concrete block. Make sure this concrete block is under the paving so we can work out nicely afterwards.
It is also important that your foundation, i.e. the tile and the concrete block, are leveled. At the other end of the veranda, place another end beam. Screw the end beam under the rubber seal. Lift the seal to do this. You can then also size the post and attach it to the support beam. After that, still attach it to the concrete block. Now you can place all the intermediate ones.
Before I place the next beam, I first place this click plate. That way I know where the beam should be placed.
So the click plate is immediately the spacer between the beams. Install one at the top and bottom. Then you can place the first beam. Slightly tuck the spotlight's cables into the beam. That way they will not be in the way. Then place the next click plates. Make sure the spotlight's cables are behind them. Always leave a small gap between the beams and the clip plates. The aluminium of the veranda will still expand and contract slightly under the temperature differences. Route all cables to the right side. When the beams are in place, you can attach them as it. At the bottom, do this just like with the profiles under the rubber seal. You can also cut off the rubber seal so that it is flush with the edge of the beam.
We will connect our LED spotlights to a transformer. We place it on the right between the beams and behind the click plate. This way, everything is nicely concealed. If anything ever breaks, you can remove the click plate and repair everything.
You can connect 6 spotlights per transformer, and the connection is simple. You just plug the plugs into the socket on the transformer. Attach the earthing to the aluminium veranda. Then connect the transformer to the mains. Do switch off the appropriate fuse when you do so. Use loose clamps to make the connection to the cables. For safety, put the connection with the splice clamps in a junction box. Before you start putting the roof covering on, seal the seams with silicone. Do that at the bottom of the roofing. It is also best to seal everything at the end at the gutter cover. It is best to soak the rubber covering strip that will later be on top in warm water beforehand. This makes it easier to work with it later. Then you can lay the roofing on the construction. But here too, you need to prepare a bit. The profiles that should go on top and bottom are fitted with a rubber seal. Squeeze the end once more so that the rubber seal stays in place.
The polycarbonate sheet has a UV-resistant coating. This is on the side where the film is printed. Before you start pulling it off, we will first place the profiles. The short profile at the top and the long profile at the bottom where the tape is permeable.
Apply some more silicone at the profile that comes at the bottom so that the dripping water can't crawl behind the profile. Tap the profile into place. Remove the protective film. If necessary, you can leave it hanging at the top as protection. The polycarbonate sheets are light, so you can easily install them on your own. Fix the sheets immediately with the cover profiles. Tap them into the profiles. You can now put in a screw at the places you have just pre-drilled. The side of the wall profile is also neatly covered with a cap. Take the rubber strip out of the bucket of lukewarm water and install it. Push it between the wall profile at the top. On the sides, finish with a line of silicone. Then install the second one and repeat all the steps. Tap the profile into place and secure it with screws. There will be an additional cover at the end of each profile. This finishes off the end of the profile nicely. The insertion of the polycarbonate sheets is progressing well. Finally, your construction is becoming a real veranda. At the bottom, you screw down the beams again. Try to do this nicely in the middle. These screws remain visible. Also check again where the rubbers are double. That doesn't matter, you can just take them out from underneath.
Once the polycarbonate sheets are in place, we are sure that the whole structure is perpendicular. At that point, we will check the posts to make sure they are perpendicular and we can make any necessary adjustments.
Only when the posts are perpendicular, you can close the opening again. Put the sand back in, add some new stabilizer if necessary, and replace the clinkers. Your veranda is now ready and your terrace is ready to enjoy.
After the hard work, we can now enjoy our patio cover. You can still extend it with sliding glass doors and sun shading. Did you miss this job? Surf to our website where you can view it again, and don't forget to subscribe to our online magazine. As for me, I look forward to seeing you on your next job.